Hello and good morning, everybody. It is I, Stippling Sat, and I'm here at my local dive bar working hard. Channel is going well. Thank you very much for everybody who's giving me views. Please remember to like and to subscribe for more. Don't be shy. Share it out and leave me a comment. It always helps. As I'm learning from listening to other YouTubers, you are, by sharing it out and by commenting, liking and subscribing, you help the algorithm. So if you are liking it, it'll help people who are watching content similar to mine will have my channel suggested to them to watch it. Be greatly appreciative of that. And I am currently working on the Lost Pages fan art. You can see that I'm working on Wild Card right now. If you look at carefully, you'll see how I've got pretty much the whole page done. I'm gonna start down here. I've still got to do around my name. Got to do those 2 sheets of paper and my flames. But as you go up these sheets of paper that are going up the page, they're pretty much done except for this one here, and then we cross over to where Jazz is. We gotta do right around here, this edge. We're not gonna do it. We're just gonna do a few areas. We're not gonna do dotting the whole way around it. But then we go down into here where we've got the We the People, and they're all fighting and then we got Crimson down here, and they are all fighting the monster. But you take a look here. I went a little hard with this line here to separate this page from this page. I don't think I'm going to be as extreme here. I'm going to hit a couple areas to imply that the line is. Your brain will fill in the rest of it. So, but no, right now I'm just working over here. And like I said, I am working hard. I'm working harder than the people in Hollywood right now, because we have the writers and we have the actors on strike, which I look at that, and in some ways I look at, I'm sorry, but for me it's one of those, when I look at how little TV I've been watching because of how I'm not enjoying what I'm seeing on TV, for me it comes down to you guys kind of deserve it. You got too aggressive, you are not being reasonable, and as a result, especially with a turn down in the economy, you've actually given Hollywood and the studios the leverage they need to win this strike. I've heard a lot of people starting to actually, as I understand it, the former CEO of Paramount and 20th Century Fox has even commented that if this writer's strike goes all the way until they say until December, if it lasts all the way to December, then Hollywood's finished. Hollywood's finished in that the way that we view content, and I do somewhat agree with that. The reason why I agree with that is because more and more people are turning to YouTube. Even before this, I became aware of all this culture war stuff. I was watching less and less network TV or streaming TV because I didn't care for the content. I just didn't care for it all, and as a result, I myself was watching more YouTube. At the beginning, I was just watching people, fan theories about Star Wars, and basically just being like, yeah, this stuff's real. I mean, it was weird. I'd be watching even when I was watching the people doing channels, they're all, this stuff's so good, and I was looking at it specifically because I was not going to subscribe to Paramount Plus to watch and I was watching their videos, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me. I really don't care for this Discovery show. It doesn't feel like the Star Trek that I grew up on. So, even when I started, like, when I was canceling my streaming services, I was very fortunate. When people started really getting into streaming, everybody started canceling and selling off their DVDs and Blu-rays. I didn't. I kept all mine. And I'm glad I did, because when I really started cutting the cord, I had a lot of Star Trek already on DVD, so I just rewatching that stuff and been entertained by it. And so now specifically with a lot of comic book artists, specifically the Comicsgate artists doing all the streaming, they are providing me with entertainment. More importantly, I used to semi-watch TV while I was doing my work, okay, when I'd be at home. But I discovered that I wasn't really getting a lot of work done. That's one of the reasons why I started coming to my local bar to get all my work done. Was I could get more work done here because I didn't control the TV, and the more noise around me, the more I'd zone into what I'm doing. So, and I discovered with like Shane Davis and Graham Nolan, when they'd stream, which led me to Michael Bancroft and Aaron Lopresti, I found that with them streaming, entertaining me by talking about content, about comic books and how comic books are fallen versus the stuff that they are producing, I found myself being more productive at home because it was like listening to the radio and listening to sports talk radio, which I did listen to a lot of. I'm a big sports talk radio fan. Used to have a job where I would have to go from store to store as a DVD vendor, and going from store to store, I would listen to a lot of sports talk radio. That's where a lot of my sports knowledge comes from. But so I see what's going on with how there's less and less entertainment for me, and I'm looking at what's going on with Hollywood, and I'm like, how's Hollywood going to survive? Well, how I see Hollywood's going to survive is their concern isn't you and I who are going to be watching TV shows. Their concern is the advertisers. That's who they want to please. Okay? So you take a look at it, they're going to look at it, okay, there are so many people who are streaming and being successful streaming. What if I start going to them to provide me with content for the TV show? And you think about it. Okay, let's go with Nick Rekieta, who's already doing this model. He starts off on YouTube, but then he switches over to Rumble. What if he does that, and he maintains his YouTube content for content that would be acceptable to be aired on TV? Okay, and he does that for an hour. Okay, and during that, because he already has advertisers, in the course of doing his show, he 3 times during the first 45 minutes. He does his advertisement for like Birch Gold and the little handsaw, and for the fruit energy vitamin powder. Okay, he does that 3 times during the first 45 minutes, and then after about 48 minutes, he then says, "Okay, we're switching over to Rumble." Whatever he covers in that first 48 minutes can now be used and rebroadcast for TV. And the TV networks, what they can do is they don't even have to play his ads for his endorsements because of the ads that he's got. they just use that as when they do their ad breaks for their advertisements. And some of those advertisers may in turn reach out to Nick, and he has even more endorsements. So you look at that, I can see that where more and more TV would be looking towards wanting to have content, YouTube content on net or network TV, because A, it's relatively cheap. As we discovered during the last writer's strike, a lot of networks went to reality TV shows. But as we've discovered also, there's a lot of this reality TV isn't really reality, and that there are some forms of writing taking place. The writers do almost like on-the-fly writing, and how they edit the shows is a form of writing. They may make suggestions to the actors on how to address an issue, so that way, and that's in a way they've determined that's a form of writing. So by going through these YouTube content creators, they don't have writers. They're doing it all on their own, and they've gotten good at doing it on their own, that they don't need writers. So I can see A being providing content for their I know I'm drawing a blank here. For like Dawn Soap, they're advertisers, yes. So I can see them going after that to appease and maintain their advertisers. And what they can do also is they'll just look at it and go, well, okay, our ratings are down, but for the amount of money that we're putting into these YouTube shows with getting them more into our networks, the cost analysis will be like, these are very profitable. So I can see that happening. And so I do see that YouTube, and specifically YouTube content creators, the creators that play their cards right, could end up with very lucrative deals this upcoming fall, being on network TV. And network TV, because all you need is let's say ABC goes after Nick Mercator, and they get him on their show. Okay. Once the other networks see that they've got a relatively financial hit on them, maybe not a huge hit in the ratings, but financially, for what's being put out, it's a great hit. Financially, I can see more and more. So you take a look at how Shane and Yanzi, how the way they're doing their content with the show that they put out with just the two of them. Now, it can be argued that Shane's chat gets very spicy. Well, remember, Yanzi, when they stream together, Yanzi's the one who's controlling putting up the comments. So if she sees that something's going to be too, she has a good eye, and she has a good business sense to know that is too spicy for network TV. I will not be showing that. That's super chat. I am not going to be showing that for us to read, because remember, they can control it so that the TV viewing audience doesn't see the chat. So, like I said, I can see, now there's a lot of pros and cons. There's a lot of, no, this can't happen, but I can see it happening. And so, another thing I can see happening is, as this writer's strike goes on, I can see a lot of these writers, and they're not good writers, but they're still writers. They still see themselves as creative geniuses. What are they going to do? They're going to, very quickly, the GoFundMes are going to dry up. Okay, so you're going to see, I can see a lot of these Hollywood writers turning to, hey guys, I'm doing a comic book. Check out my book. And think about it. They went to art colleges. They know people who are artistic. You're like, hey, can you do my comic book? You don't know anything about comic books? That's okay. People will buy it. So I can see the market in Kickstarter and Indiegogo getting flooded with a lot of campaigns come this fall. So again, I look at that where it's like that's another where with us having to be aggressive with our campaigns will be to how do we stand above the noise, and so that's where our stream with all the concrete creators, not just getting on stream to entertain us and to promote their campaigns. This is where if they're going to be approached by a lot of people all of a sudden, hey, can you help? Hey, can I be on your show to promote my book? Well, the thing is they're going to find out very quickly, wait a second, I've never seen or heard of you before until all of a sudden now. This is where us as independent creators to stand out from all of these other new campaigns. This is where it's important for us to be getting in on these shows. When I say getting in on these shows, being known within the chat. Okay, the perfect example is when I go join the chat for Michael Bancroft's show, and I just go, hey chat, I might be busy doing this or doing the drawing to make this, but I'll at least say a hi, and I get a lot of people commenting back and hive on. Whereas like a year ago, I wouldn't get a whole lot of people. So I really, how you doing?
Hi, I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt. That is so beautiful.
No problem.
It's so nice.
So one of the things when you work in a bar, you get people coming up commenting on your work. So, but no, so by making yourself known within the chat now, when you do have a book available that you're ready to launch, those channels are going to be more inclined to have you on their show as opposed to the sudden wave of creators, because they know that, okay, I know who Stippling Vaughn is. He's been in the chat. He's been making remarks. He's invited me to watch his videos. He's legitimate. I'm going to have him on my show, as opposed to Mary Sue Gleason, who is a Hollywood writer, and she's all of a sudden saying, hey, can I be on your show so you can promote my... Nope. So that's where I see how it's going to be. I can see streaming and crowdfunding being very aggressive this upcoming fall. And that's where you're going to get a lot more of this butthurtness, because all you need is, like, let's say Shane and Yanzi get a show or an ABC. Okay? You're going to have, like, the Vicky verses and the Mark Brooks coming out of the woodwork once again, coming out of the shadows to throw shade at them because they're jealous. So, but that's where if you are serious in doing your own book, start streaming. Even if you're doing a really bad job of it, you gotta stream to make yourself used to it. Because you'll notice over time you get better and better with your streaming, with your live streams, when you're on other people's streams, when you're doing your own stream with no one else talking, except for you, like I do. So I would encourage everybody to please, if you're really serious about doing your own book, start streaming and start getting yourself known within this circle, because you will be able to capitalize on it to have a successful crowdfunding. So I'm going to keep working on this. I don't think I'm going to do a time lapse from this. I don't think so. I'm just going to finish this up on my own, and once I have this finished, I'll start posting pictures on Twitter and on Facebook. Remember, this is the Lost Pages fan art competition by the Diaz brothers. So So I would, no, that's my opinion on what's going to see, what the landscape's going to look like. And I will be doing my time-lapse video on that other page that I've been. If you look at my shorts, you'll been seeing this combination of the lost pages and then of a regular comic book page for my book called Scat Investigators. It's two Pennsylvania game wardens, and their job is to go out and to protect the creatures that go bump in the night from you and I. And as far as you and I are concerned, these creatures do not exist. But they do, and it's their job to keep them hidden. They're the ones that actually perform the cover-up. So when you would get your Fox and Mulders going in, going, it was the Loch Ness Monster. And they're like, nope, no, it wasn't. No. It was a very slender turtle. It was a turtle that's got into a box of Slim Fast. That's the reason why it has a very slim shell. It wasn't the Loch Ness Monster. It was a turtle that eaten Slim Fast. So, but you guys have a good day. And remember, life is always going to be stressful. No matter what you do to combat that, life is always going to be stressful. And that's why I take it all one dot at a time.